Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to this video lecture series in which we are talking about how we can improve and optimize our neural network. So until in the previous video lecture, we have seen the working of dropout regularization, and we have seen that how basically this dropout regularization technique has helped us in removing the problem of high variance from our learning algorithm. And this has caused a significant decrease in the amount of variance in our learning algorithm. So if our algorithm is causing an overfitting to our data set, then this can be solved using the dropout regularization technique. And now some of you are still having some doubts regarding this technique. So in this video lecture, we are going to understand this dropout in a much better way. So let us continue and move over to the next slide. Now, in this video lecture, we are going to see that how does dropout actually work and what is actually happening when we are applying dropout, that the variance problem, that the problem of high variance in the learning algorithm is being solved by applying the process of dropout. So let us see and watch this video lecture. Now, what is the basic intuition behind applying the dropout is that we can't rely on any one feature when we are applying the dropout. So what we need to do is basically we need to spread out the weights in the neural network. Now, I hope this line would not be understood by you till now. Why? Because we have not seen the intuition behind the dropout. So now let us consider a very simple neural network as of now. So firstly, what I will do, I'll draw a very simple neural network as of now. So I'll draw a single layer neural network here. So suppose that this neural network has four input nodes, okay, four inputs, and this has the second layer, the output layer has a single node, okay. So inputs from all these nodes would be applied to the output layer node, and this output layer node would now be creating an output. Okay, this will be the final output y hat. Okay, and now these all four are the input features. So let us suppose that these input features are x1, x2, x3 and x4. Now what is happening, that suppose that I apply dropout regularization in this neural network. Although I must say that this is a very small neural network that I have taken in example, but this is simply for the sake of our understanding that we have taken this much simple neural network. Because what you need to do is, if you take this much simple neural network or a much complex network than this one, then I think that you actually don't need to apply dropout regularization to such simple networks. Why? Because these networks will never produce the problem of overfitting in the neural network. Okay, so there is no need to apply any type of regularization to these kind of network. But since we are taking it as an example and this is just for the sake of our understanding, so we are taking this very small neural network, okay, and I'm going to explain you all the concept using this neural network. Okay, so let us continue. Now, since we have taken this neural network and now I want to apply the dropout regularization in this neural network. So what dropout basically did in the last video lecture was, basically we use dropout, and by dropout we means that we need to exclude some of the nodes from this input layer based on the probabilities. Okay, so suppose that I take the probability, that is my key prob, as equal to 0.5 again. Okay, so now those nodes who are having the probability less than 0.5 will be kept for calculating, for any type of calculations in this neural network. Okay, and those nodes, those who are having the probability greater than the key prob, that is 0.5, will now be eliminated, and this is the only rule that we are going to apply in the dropout regularization. So suppose that what happened for the first iteration you did, and according to the first iteration x1 node was passed. Why? Because it was having the probability less than 0.5, so it should be kept in this neural network. X2 node was unfortunately unable to pass from this since it was having the probability greater than 0.5. X3 node was also not able to pass this, okay, because it is having the probability greater than 0.5. And X4 node was kept as it is in the neural network. Why? Because its probability was less than 0.5. So now what is happening now, that you are basically filtering out some of the inputs from this neural network. Now, suppose that here in this neural network, you are having four inputs. Now, it is also possible that you are filtering out the input x2 and x3 from this neural network. But what is happening is the features x2 and x3 are of very much important for this neural network. Okay, and these are playing a very vital role in the calculations and predicting the output that is coming from this neural network. But although they are having a high importance, then also they are unfortunately bypassed, or unfortunately they are being penalized because of the very high value of the probabilities. Okay, and these are not able to satisfy this criteria in this iteration. Okay, so what is happening, we are not now able to rely on these two features x2 and x3, although these are the very two important features that you know already, that these are very important features and are playing a vital role in giving the output y hat. Okay, now you perform the second iteration. Okay, and what you saw that now instead of having these two features as crossed, now you found that these two features passed the test and these two nodes are now crossed out. Okay, so now the output y hat is coming as a computation of the two x2 and x3. Okay, so now it is the algorithm is now the fortunate enough that is it is using the very vital features, that is x2 and x3, for calculating the output y hat. Okay, so there is a high uncertainty that which features will be used each and every time you iterate over to the neural network. And also, suppose you keep this keep prob as the hyperparameter, so you are not sure that whether some of the nodes, which of the nodes will pass and which of the nodes would not be able to pass this test. Okay, so what is happening, that you can that you now you read this intuition statement. So what is it, it is written there, we cannot rely on any one feature. Yeah, this is true, we cannot rely on any one feature out of x1, x2, x3 and x4. Why we cannot rely on any one feature? Because keeping of these features is not fixed. Okay, it is dependent upon the probability. Okay, and the probabilities of these four is dependent upon the random vector that we are creating. Okay, using the numpy library, as we remember in the list in the last video lecture. Okay, so now what we basically need to do, we have to spread out the weights. Okay, so instead of giving a high weight priority to a single feature x2 and x3, what we are going to do is we are basically distributing the weights over to all the four features, input features in this neural network. And so what is happening now, any of a particular input feature is now not getting a very high importance in this neural network. Okay, so even if that input feature is excluded from this neural network, then it does not cause a very adverse effect to the performance of this learning algorithm. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear to you, and this concept is easily understandable using this much small neural network. Okay, so now let us continue and move over to example when we have a slightly bigger neural network. Okay, so now here this is a neural network that has a lot of input layers, that has a lot of hidden layers inside it, and that two hidden layers are having a variable number of nodes, where you see that this is the layer 1, this is the layer 2, this is the layer 3, this is the layer 4, and this is the final output layer, layer 5. And this input layer is often treated as the layer 0. So you can see that the layers 1 and 2 are having comparatively a larger number of nodes than compared to layers 3, 4, 5, as well as the input features, that is the layer 0. Okay, so now if you want to apply the dropout regularization in this kind of a neural network, so what I can see here, that since layer 1 and layer 2 are having a high number of nodes. Okay, so it is more likely possible that these two layers, layer 1 and layer 2, are greatly going to give their contribution into the problem of high variance, okay, or overfitting problem. Okay, but layer 3, 4 and 5, since they are having a very less number of nodes, so they are rarely going to give any contribution to this problem of high variance. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to penalize more number of nodes from layer 1 and layer 2 as compared to layer 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so the removal of nodes from layer 1 and 2 would be more as compared to layers 3, 4 and 5. Okay, and in order to remove more number of nodes, what I need to do is I need to keep the keep prob for layers 1 and 2 to be of a very small value. Why? Because if I keep prob parameter of a very small value for these two layers, layers 1 and layer 2, then what will happen that most of the nodes would not be able to pass through that barricade. Okay, and most of the nodes would be filtered out, and the nodes that are having the probability less than the key prob would only be kept in this neural network. Hence we would result in removing most of the number of nodes from this two layers. Okay, and since we already know that layers 3, 4 and 5 are having very less number of nodes, so it is not our duty to keep the key prop parameter of a very small value in layers 3, 4 and 5, and we can keep the key prop parameter to be a larger value than as compared to layer 1 and 2. Okay, so what I have told you is, so firstly, take into consideration that we need to write the parameters w, the matrix, the dimensions of parameter w for each of these layer. So this would be w1. Okay, and what will be this would be w2, this would be w3, this would be w4, and this would be w5. So what will be my dimensions of this vector w1? It would be, so what are the number of nodes I am having in this layer? 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 nodes. Okay, so this would be 7 cross 3 matrix. Okay, this would again be 7 cross 7 matrix. W3 would be 3 cross 7 matrix. Okay, W4 would be 2 cross 3 matrix, and W5 would be 1 cross 2 matrix. Okay, and how I am finding that what are the dimensions of this vector W? The number of nodes in this present layer would be forming the rows, and the number of nodes in this previous layer, okay, to which I am finding the parameter W, would be the number of columns. Okay, so this is having 7 nodes, so 7 will be my number of rows in this W, and 3 would be my number of columns, since I'm having 3 input features for this layer. Okay, and similarly I have calculated for W2, W3, W4 and W5. So what I'm saying in this neural network architecture is that since this layer 1 is having a lot many number of nodes, so I need to penalize a large number of nodes from this layer only. Okay, so for this, suppose that I keep the key prop parameter as equal to 0.3, suppose, and then again for the layer 2 I keep the key prop parameter as 0.4, suppose, because 0.3, 0.4, these are all the key prop values that are very small, and these will allow a large number of nodes to be removed from these two layers. And now, as I already know that layer 3 is having a small number of nodes, so I don't need to much penalize the number of nodes here. So suppose that I keep the key prob as 0.8. Okay, and for layer 4, suppose that I keep the key prob as 0.8 again, and since this output layer is having only one node, so suppose that I keep the key prob as equal to 1. Now what is the meaning of key prob equals to 1? That it is very necessary for me to keep all the nodes for this layer 5, and since this layer 5 is having only a single node here, so this single node would be kept in this neural network. Okay, whatever be the value of the probability in this node. Okay, and now this is the input layer. So for the input layer also, what we can do, we can use the value of the key prob. So basically what I need to do is I need to include all the input features. Okay, because I cannot afford to lose any of the input features as of now. So if I need to keep all the input parameters or all the input features, then what I can do is I can keep this value of key prop for the input layer as 1.0. So no removal of any input feature will happen from the input layer. Okay, so this is basically how dropout is working in the dropout regularization. Okay, and these are the very important concept that you would be using in the coding exercises also. Okay, and now what is happening that now discussing about the applications of this dropout regularization. Now a very vital role of dropout is in the field of computer vision. Okay, why computer vision? Because basically computer vision problems are having the data sets and the neural networks working upon those data sets are of a very large dimensions. Okay, and they are very deep neural networks with having a large number of nodes in them. Okay, so basically each and every neural network is having a large number of input layers, a large number of hidden layers, and each and every hidden layer is having a large number of nodes internally. Okay, and there is a very deep connection within each and every node. Okay, so there is a high probability that people would face the problem of overfitting or high variance to this. Okay, and there are some people who oftenly use this dropout regularization, whatever may be the case, whether they are facing the problem of high variance or not, they tend up to have a sample statement where they always use the process of dropout regularization. Okay, but I seriously would advise you that do not use the process of regularization like L1, L2 or any dropout regularization until and unless you are facing the problem of overfitting on your data set. Okay, do not make it as a habit of using dropout regularization or any kind of regularization. Okay, until and unless you are facing the problem of overfitting. Okay, do not make it as a standard as you need to use the dropout regulation each and every time you solve a problem. Okay, so this computer vision is the most common example where people use this dropout regularization in order to get rid of the problem of overfitting in the data set. Okay, and now there is a very huge advantage of using this dropout regularization, but apart from having a lot of advantage that it reduces the problem of overfitting, this dropout regularization is also having a very big disadvantage. Now what this big disadvantage is that, as you have seen, that our neural network is not now dependent on any one input feature. Okay, and thus the cost function j of this neural network is also not constant now. Okay, because this cost function would be calculated on the parameters w and b. Okay, and suppose that you're removing some of the nodes, so this cost function would not be giving you the constant performance, or this cost function would now be variable. Okay, so this is the basic disadvantage that is faced while using the dropout regularization. Okay, and one thing again that I should tell you is that suppose that you are plotting the cost function or the error rate, and in terms on the x-axis you are plotting the number of iterations. Okay, and the graph of this j versus number of iterations is coming like this. So you're seeing that this j is, that is the cost function, is decreasing monotonically when you are increasing the number of iteration. So you can see that this algorithm is working fine. So here this is not the case where you should apply the feature, that is, you here you should not apply the dropout regularization. But suppose that there is a problem where the cost function is decreasing monotonically, and somewhere it is the place where the cost function is going to rapidly increase and give you some abnormal performances when you are increasing the number of iterations. So this is actually the place where you need to apply the dropout regularization. Why? Because you are seeing that your algorithm is facing the problem of overfitting. Okay, and due to this overfitting, this algorithm is not going to perform in a very better way in the testing data set. Okay, so use this regularization technique very judicially and only use it when you are facing the problem of high variance. Okay, and I hope this video lecture would have been very much informative to you. Thanks for watching this video lecture. If you really like this video lecture, then hit the like button given below. If you have any doubts regarding this video lecture, then you can write in the comment section given below. Share my YouTube videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you and have a nice day.